find for myself in terms of my healing process is my mirror. Because your mirror has no filter. It doesn't lie. You come to peace with what you see in that mirror. You're not looking for anything outside of yourself to fulfill your needs, your self-respect.
You are Black in the Green Room with me, your host, Keith Underwood. And this is your spot for real talk about entertainment with entertainers, creatives, and showbiz professionals. Today, we're honored to welcome a true legend. Yes, actor, director, and storyteller Bill Duke. With a career spanning decades, he's helped shape the culture both in front of and behind the camera, opening doors and telling stories that matter. And now he's bringing that same purpose to a powerful new project, an authorized biopic on comedy icon Redd Foxx. Mr. Duke, thank you and welcome to the room.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, sincerely.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you look back at your journey, what has kept you so grounded and focused through all these years in the industry?
Well, just being grateful to, the God I believe in, and understanding um, to not depend on my ego, which stands for edging God out,
Mm,
um, and really surrendering to, the creative things within me, trusting
hmm.
myself, and really learning the craft. I went to American Film Institute and NYU School of the Arts, and different places that taught me the craft. So I'm grateful every day for that.
Yes. How has it been a process for you to learn how to lean into that non-ego?
Well, it was a process, but God gives you lessons, and I tell you one lesson that I was given, and I woke up really clearly because I was very successful in my career at that particular time, and I decided to get away on a vacation because I was just exhausted, so I wanted the vacation. So I decided to go to Hawaii.
Hmm.
So we went from the main island to another island, and it was a twin propeller plane, and
Wow.
we were flying over the water, and all of a sudden the plane started shaking, shaking, shaking. We're saying what? And then it stopped. So okay. Then it started shaking, shaking, shaking again, and then we look at the pilot. Now, in the movies, the pilot says, okay, ladies and gentlemen, be calm. We're fine. It's going to be okay. This pilot was hitting the switches like this, and he was saying, help us, Mary. Help us, Jesus. Help us, Lord. That's the pilot. That's the pilot.
Right.
So he was wise that the front of the plane, the back of the plane hit first and then the front. And so it saved our lives because if they'd gone in the front, we'd all died.
Yes.
And so I have a scar on my nose right here from hitting the front seat, the seat in front of me. And he said, get off the plane, get off the plane. I saying, I don't swim. He put the life donor around my waist, my head, because I get off the plane. So I went to the wing. So I don't swim. He said, jump, jump, because the plane's going to sink. I jumped. I went down once, and the life donor had come off of me. I went down twice.
Oh gosh.
Came up the third time. The life donor was right here. I put a light over my head, and I paddled to the people that were like 100 yards away. And I said, oh man, guess we're going to all die in the ocean here. And so this lady says, she's paddling. She says, boats, planes, boats, planes. And we're all thinking she's delusional. And we look up and there's boats and planes coming to us.
Wow.
And we say, God, right? Miracles. Only 3 times a year the Hawaii Fire Department goes out and does emergency maneuvers in different parts of the ocean. This day, this day, they were 1/2 nautical miles from where we crashed. They saw our plane go in. Okay?
That's amazing.
Is that amazing?
That is amazing.
So I'm riding back on the boat with the pilot, you know, tall, white, around 6'5", and like Ichabod Crane looking person, and we're all shivering and stuff. We're cold. And I look at him and I say, "Hey man, I just want to say thank you for saving our lives, because the nose of the plane going first, for all being dead." He says, wait. I appreciate what you're saying. He says, "I'm a Catholic."
Mm.
He said, "Don't thank me." He said, "Whatever God you pray to, thank that." He turns his face away from me. He turns back and looks in my face, and he starts crying like a baby.
Wow. Wow, you just shared a phenomenal story, that just kind of reinforced your faith. And when you think about your career, you've worn so many hats, actor, director, producer. Which one of those roles, which one feels the most personal to you at this stage in your life?
Well, I love acting, but in directing, you get to tell stories that you believe in.
Mm.
Because directing is aesthetic, in terms of the aesthetic part of it, like, telling stories that you contact with and you want the audience to feel and think about what you're feeling in terms of the story. But also things a management game, and people don't understand. It's managing three things: time,
Hmm.
people, and money. And you can be as passionate as you want to as a director, but if you cannot manage time, people, and money, it ain't gonna work.
Hmm. What's been your secret to understanding and balancing all three?
Well, I had the great fortune, as I said, going to great schools, great teachers, you know, NYU School of the Arts and American
Mhm.
Film Institute, and you know, um, you know, great teachers teach, and I was willing to learn. And so when I listened, and I
Mhm.
went to AFI, and Tony Vellani was one of the heads there, what he taught us was, as directors, because I understand your passion. He said, but what you really have to study is editing.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because if when you're editing and you did not get what's necessary to tell that story visually,
Mm-hmm.
you'll never do that again. You have to tell that story. And so editing is a great learning process, because it tells you next time you got to get this piece, that piece, whatever other piece.
Mm-hmm. As a director, what do you look for in the actors that you choose to tell your stories?
Well, I look for the Denzels and the Meryl Streeps of the world, because they don't act.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wrong word. I always say that. Actors don't act, they become.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great teacher, Lloyd Richards, who was a teacher of directing and acting to me at the New Ensemble Company, etc. And, you know, we're in an acting class, and I did a scene, and I had all the words right, and I felt the character. He says, "Bill, I appreciate what you did. It's good, but you were acting." I said, yeah. He said, "Bill, the great actors don't act, they become."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "After you've learned all your lines, you have to fall into darkness backward.
Mm.
And whatever comes out of that experience, you become the character. So it's not just the lines, it's who's saying the lines.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great teaching for me.
Yeah, absolutely. What have been some other great lessons that you've learned in your journey in entertainment?
Well, I always I start off with great passion, but until later on, no one taught me about the business.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know the business, it's going to be so cruel, man. I mean, you have to leverage everything you know in terms of understanding the business because that's, you know, what gets you through.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Yeah.
go ahead,
No, no, you go ahead.
because, it's like, I always tell this story, I was on Broadway in a play and doing very well. Um, but I was taking drugs and alcohol. And so I was spending all the money in the play on drugs and alcohol and my rent. And I was about to be kicked out of my place. So I'm standing on the street, literally standing on the street in front of my place, begging for money.
Mm.
People used to come by and look at me because I was 6'5" and whatever. And so this older black lady, she's been in her 70s or 80s, comes by. She looks at me. I have my hand out. She looks at me and passes by. So I have my hand out to the next person and feel a tap on my back. I turn around, and it's the same old black lady. She looks in my eyes and she says, "Son, do your mama know you out here doing this?"
Mm.
I never begged for anything again after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if my mother and father had seen me begging for money,
Right.
that would have been the end.
Yeah. You shared a very, very honest story and one that is very, very familiar that we've heard often in the entertainment industry. Why do you think that it's so easy for professionals in the entertainment to slip into a life of dependency?
Well, there are athletes and actors that make over $100 million sometimes. And in 5 or 6 years, they're broke.
Mm,
And the reason they're broke is because they've been taught how to spend money,
mhm,
but not how to use money. And if you have four mansions and some have 20 different cars and list goes on and on and on, that money don't last that long.
mhm,
And so what I try to tell the young kids that my foundation that I'm working with, you know, learn how to not only spend money, but how to use it,
mhm.
leverage it to your benefit. And that's a whole other craft.
Yes. What's the name of your foundation?
The Duke Media Foundation.
Duke Media Foundation. Why, outside of teaching young creatives about the business of entertainment, why was it important to you to start your foundation?
Because we have to give back.
We have to.
I mean, look at the other cultures in our world.
Hmm.
I mean, they carry their children with them they teach their children everything that they know. And sometimes, unfortunately, we abandon our children. We become successful, and it's like, I was in people. This is like 10 years ago now. I was very successful and went out to a dinner with other successful actors and directors and producers. We had this table around 10 or 15 people and bottles of champagne for $200 and $300 a bottle. And we had around 10 or 15 bottles of champagne and we had a great time and finished up. And leaving the restaurant, there was this homeless man that was outside the door begging for money. Got some money, got some place. So I took $20 out of my pocket and I gave it to him. And so we walking away. My buddy says, "Hey, Bill, why'd you give him that money?" I said, "Because he needed it."
Mm.
He said, "What you understand, they got to pull themselves up by their bootstraps."
Mm.
I said, "Carl, did you see him with any boots on?
Mm.
He didn't have no damn boots." Sometimes we forget, and we shouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not taught. We're not taught. You don't know.
Right. And that giving back for you, it lends back to your own personal experiences. Unfortunately, a lot of times, especially with those of us in the business, we forget where we came from.
Why do you think that is?
You know, I think that it's wanting to remove yourself from those painful memories. I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is I got mine, you need to get yours.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes, as opposed to us coming together and trying to benefit one another. And sometimes that benefit doesn't come from anything financial. It comes from the act of giving.
yes. Caring.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree with you 100%.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Redd Foxx a little bit. So what drew you to telling the story of Redd Foxx at this moment?
Well, his family came to me with the project, and you know, and the writers, and had the great honor of working with Ti and Roger Bob, and I mean, seeing Red is like, I mean, people don't understand who he really was.
Hmm.
They see him as a comedian, but he was a pioneer.
Absolutely.
I mean, from Richard Pryor to Sammy Davis Jr. to Chris Rock, they all praise Redd Foxx because he broke down doors. And in one of his interviews, he said one time, I think he said these words, um, you know, I was successful. I made more money I could spend,
Hmm.
you know, and people knew me and blah, blah, blah. I had my own show. And he said, but sometimes when I went backstage and took off my wardrobe, I was still treated like a nigga.
Mm.
And in those days, he came up during segregation.
Hmm.
I mean, he was Redd Foxx on stage, but when he went out in the street,
Yes.
they didn't see Redd Foxx.
Right.
They
They
saw,
saw a black man.
they saw, that's it, a black man
Yes.
during segregation. So what he went through, we want to, of course, in the movie, talk about what a great comedian he was and how he could poke fun at himself, but and also get on stage and tell the truth, in terms of pointing out people in the audience, etc. So he was a genius comedian. We also want to talk about the price he paid as a human being,
Mm.
being a black man in America at that time. So, the creatives who came up with this original story, you know, Sean McBride and, Michael Green, we want to really get into the heart of it.
Mm.
Not just the surface, oh, he was funny and he went through these things. No, but what is the context? I mean, what was the time like that he was living in?
Mm-hmm.
And when he was off stage, how was he treated? And but he took that and he put it into his comedy.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say, "Oh, I'm a suffering Redd Foxx," and then we didn't do that.
That was his therapy.
That's exactly it was his therapy. Totally right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I always, going back and looking at old footage of him and videos and interviews, he was also a very sophisticated
Yes.
man as well, which I think a lot of people probably overlooked because they only see, Sanford and Son. Are you going to kind of get into his lifestyle as
Mhm.
well as his work in the biopic?
Yes. His lifestyle, the divorces he went through, his marriages. I
Hmm.
mean, the drug issues, the alcohol issues. I mean, he talked about it. Those were attempts to kill the pain
Hmm.
because, as he said, on stage and on camera, he was this famous Redd Foxx. But on the streets, he was still a black man in America during segregation.
Hmm.
So he faced a lot of things.
Yeah. It ties back into what we were talking about earlier when I was asking you about dependency and how people decline into dependency when they're supposedly on these highs in their careers. And to the outside world, like you said, there are a lot of pressures that are going on already for anybody, black, white, whatever you are in the industry. But then you compound that with blackness. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
it can definitely drive you to seeking comfort and things that might not necessarily be for our highest good.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah. Um, where are you guys in the process of the biopic? Has there been casting done already?
There are some people that are interested in it, like Ti and others, and but we, as I said before, the three things: um, funding, distribution, and marketing.
Hmm.
So anybody that wants to contribute to the funding, distribution, or marketing, please, they can reach me through you and let us know because it's a passion project.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
and we know that we can make the money back based upon who we cast, but also the fact that who Redd Foxx was and what he did, and the lessons he taught us in terms of giving back,
Hmm.
reaching out. I mean, again, I'll say it, he was a pioneer.
Absolutely. We were, talking about, and we've been talking about the legacy of Redd Foxx and the sacrifices that he's made. What are your thoughts on, comedians and comedy and the state of where it is now? And, is there space for you to talk about that through film or TV, about comedians and comedy?
Um, yes, comedians are some of the people I admire more. I'm working on a project about comedians now, but they take tragedies in their lives and make you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like the Richard Pryors of the world,
Mm-hmm.
who burned himself, and then he made you laugh about it.
Right.
And those were severe burns.
Yes.
One of my favorite, episodes ever on Saturday Night Live is um, Richard Pryor and what's his name, Chevy Chase.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that or not.
Uh, kind of. Reruns, yes.
If you ever get a chance to watch that, it's one of the funniest moments ever. But Richard Pryor was able to take his pain and turn it into laughter. Redd Foxx did the same thing. Bernie Mac did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, Mom's Mabley is one of my favorites. I mean, um, it's like their ability to turn their lives into comedy. People don't really understand that process. They
Mm-hmm.
laugh at the jokes, but at the same time, you know, the jokes came from something.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
What what is what is therapeutic about comedy to Bill Duke?
there are two things that save me every day: music and laughter. Whenever I'm going through a difficult time, I play great music and I turn comedy on that makes me laugh from the great comedians. Um, it gets you through your experiences.
Mm.
I mean, I pray too. I'm religious in quantum physics beliefs and all of that. But the great musicians of the world and the great comedians of the world, I don't know if they know it or not, but they're lifesavers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in some of the deepest, darkest moments when in my past, if I turn on certain music, just lay back and listen to it, somehow it gets me through the rest of the day,
Right.
and
Comedy's similar for you.
same thing. I mean, when great comedians make me laugh at myself,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and also I find for myself in terms of my healing process is my mirror.
Mm.
Because your mirror has no filter; it doesn't lie.
That's right.
I'm not talking about standing in front of it for seconds, but minutes and minutes, maybe a half hour, maybe an hour, maybe. But you come to peace with what you see in that mirror. You're not looking for anything outside of yourself to fulfill your needs, your self-respect. A lot of us, I think divorce is based on the fact that people don't look in their mirrors and come at peace with themselves and with things they've suffered from since childhood. And they're
Mm.
expecting that person to fill that hole. That's not, if you love that person, you fill that hole. They can comfort
Mm-hmm.
you and they can love you, but that's not their responsibility. That's my opinion. That's called divorce.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I want to touch on one other thing about Red Fox that's very, very important, and it's important for all ages, all audiences to know. He pushed for Black writers and creatives that's during a time when that wasn't the norm. So how do you see his influence in the industry today?
Oh, he was a pioneer in putting Black writers on shows and producers and all of that. I mean, he insisted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, he became very controversial because people said he was hard to work with, difficult. No, he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
He was just giving back. And I guess we're not expected to do that. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of us don't. So he was like an anomaly. What in the hell what is he doing? He wants a black director on it, a black producer. I mean, and so he was a pioneer.
Wow. Um, what do you hope younger generations, especially young Black creatives that might not know even who Redd Foxx is, what do you hope that they take away from his journey?
Integrity. That yes, making money is important, and you have to feed your family, etc. But if you do something that your children look on in the future, and they say, "Daddy, was that you?" and they're ashamed of what they see, it's a balance because sometimes you got to do things to feed the family that you don't want to do, but at the same time, you try your best to be involved in things that make you proud.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, things that make you proud, for you personally, what do you hope this project, what do you hope it represents in this chapter, or what does it represent in this chapter of your life and legacy?
Represents the fact that no matter what you're faced with, if you can truly be yourself and not turn yourself into something that other people want you to be, so that you can sleep at night, so that you can, you know, be truly who you are and leave this life with that, how can I say, legacy?
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. Yes, there are compromises, there's no doubt about it. But at the same time, in the context of that compromise, there are things you can do to make your children proud.
Absolutely. The legendary, phenomenal, and oh so wise Bill Duke. Thank you so much for joining me on Black in the Green Room. This was an absolute honor for me.
Well, God bless you, brother. Thank you for having me and thank you for staying black.
Thank you. That's right.
Take care.
Be sure to follow me, Keith Underwood, at Mr. Keith L. Underwood on IG. You can also follow me on FB at Keith L. Underwood. And you know you gotta follow Black in the Green Room at Black in the Green Room across all platforms. Until next time, this has been Black in the Green Room.